Hey everyone, just wanted to talk about the MaxMadco pen. I've been rocking this pen in my pocket for the better part of coming up on 4 years now, and I've loved it ever since I got it. This is a wonderful pen, and if you don't want to watch the entire video, you can just take away from the fact that it is fantastic, and it's my go-to pen for everything. If you want some more specifics, definitely stay tuned because I'm about to go right into those. So this is the MaxMadco pen. It is a stainless steel pen from its steel screws right here and here to the clip to the pen barrel. It is all stainless steel, save for the plastic right there, the black part, and you can kind of see this brass pillar right there, which it's a little bit gunked up. I haven't ever cleaned this, so maybe I should do that at some point, but hey, so far so good. Any moving part, I personally would love to have brass in there, because it's a self-lubricating material and it keeps it really smooth and really slick. In fact, if this whole thing could be brass, I would love a brass pen. I know they sell a bronze version, but this is the one I have. Anyway, it is 3/8 of an inch in diameter, and I'm pretty sure that's only just the pen barrel and not including the clip. The clip, everything, from here to this end will probably be, about a half of an inch. It is 5.1 inches long, and it is 1.75 ounces in weight. And this thing, you really feel every single ounce in there and every micro ounce and all those things. It is a hefty pen, and that is one of my favorite things about it and one of my least favorite things about it. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. The insert I've got in this thing is a Parker Quink Flow. It's a ballpoint pen insert. Right now I have the medium insert. There's very little difference between a fine, medium, and broad in terms of ballpoint pens, at least that I've encountered, and I figured I would just go to the medium one. May as well. Yeah. I have only had good experiences with that ballpoint pen insert. This thing did ship with a Parker Gel pen insert, and that was not as, not as good. They had some issues with those where the back ends would get kind of messed up and it would leak this gooey substance and it would kind of gunk up this mechanism right here, but over time that kind of wears off if you replace it. I did away with those gel pen inserts for that reason. I didn't want it to kind of gunk up as much, and I've never looked back. I know they sell them now. When they ship these out, they put in a insert from Itoya, which apparently has no issues with that, so it doesn't leak all over the back end of it and gunk it up. You can put a Fisher Space Pen insert in this thing. You do need that little extending plastic part in it. I know those are popular, so if you're wondering if you can put one in there, you totally can. Anyway, these things cost about $85 for the stainless steel version. They go up from there. You can get them in titanium, you can get them in bronze, and there's some other stuff, there's some little one-off pens that show up every once in a while. So keep your eyes posted to the MaxMadco site if you're interested for that. Yeah. So going into my experience with the pen, every time I hand this to somebody and let them use it, they just fall in love with it. They go, wow, that's a really heavy pen. I really like this pen. And they'll play with the bolt action mechanism for a couple minutes. It'll distract them for a while. So people like it, and it's a conversation piece in that regard. I know when I first got this, I was annoying everyone around me because I was constantly flicking it open and closed and open and closed, and it actually would run the pads of my fingers kind of raw because I was just doing it so much. Now they've kind of built up and toughened for that specific task, which is kind of neat. So I don't get as sore of hands when I'm using it. Actually, that went away pretty fast. Yeah, people really like this kind of thing. It's different. Not many people have seen bolt action pens, and if they have, it's more of those made from an old 50 caliber bullet type things, or some of them seen the ones that have the big ball that you can't really miss when you're going for it. This one's more simple, more streamlined, and it just uses that small screw on a pillar to actuate it, and I really like that. I really like how simple this pen is. It's just a tube of stainless steel with a pen insert in it and a bolt action and a clip. And it's a wonderful pen. I think it doesn't get caught on anything when I put it in my pocket. It just fits in, with everything that I'm carrying. Some of the pros that I really love about it, again, how simple it is. I really love the weight. It's when you're drawing or writing, you feel a lot of control over it because of how heavy it is. I've every once in a while had to use a Bic pen, and they just, I'm not used to the weight, so I'll either not press hard enough, or I'll be moving it too fast, and I won't, there's not that feedback there from how heavy these things are. So I'm used to heavy pens. I like it. I feel like it helps me write better. The clip on this thing is wonderful. If I've never had issues with it bending out. It's got good tension. It keeps clipped into your pocket, especially if your jeans have that kind of lip where it's sewn over. It catches really well on that, and you're very deliberate with it, coming out of your pocket. It's not going to come out on accident. I have had it come out a few times on accident, but that was more my fault, where I didn't put it in correctly, or I didn't have it, clipped all the way down into my pocket, and it catches on something. But that's been, out of the probably like 2,000 times I've ever had to put this in or out of my pocket, it has not, it's a very negligible percentage of the time it'll get caught on something. I don't know what stainless steel variant they use on this, but I've never had any issues with rusting on the pen, and that's probably due to the fact that I'm constantly handling it, using it, and the oils from your hands, just natural. It keeps it nice and slick and clean, and prevents rust. But yeah, I've never had any issues with rusting on this, or corroding or anything like that. And the mechanism has held up incredibly well. I've never cleaned it, as you can probably tell from a couple shots earlier. And this thing is just as smooth as the day I got it, if not smoother. I don't even have any complaints about the mechanism right here. The tolerances on this, the machining on it, are really wonderful. On the back you get this nice logo, which again, it's a little dirty. And you can see where I've dropped it right there. It's banged against some things. Yeah, there's, again, like I said, the tolerances on here are wonderful. You can see where the back half and the front half, where it meets and you unscrew it. The threads are great. They're not scratchy. They're perfectly smooth, and they work great. You've got a nice little stamping right here, just to let you know that it was made in the USA if you're into that thing, and that kind of thing. And when I got it, there was no issues with the pen barrel being too narrow. Every pen insert that can be used with this has been in here. Has never caught, and if it has, I'll actually talk about that right now, because of the con. This thing is so heavy. If you drop it on a solid material and you catch it right on the tip, you're going to bend in the pen barrel, or the steel right around the tip, and it'll sort of obstruct that pathway. Now, what I've had to do is I've had to drill this thing out and mill it out, and use a reamer to kind of bend things back every once in a while if I've dropped it. And it holds up really well to that. It's not, it doesn't shear the metal or anything like that. I don't know why I was just trying to put those back in there, but as you can see, it's perfectly fit. Yeah, that's my only complaint really about the weight, but that's completely my own fault for dropping it. So that's not anything against the pen. And there is a little bit of a break-in period for your thumb and your index finger if that's what you're using to actuate it. But again, that's more something you'll just have to get used to. It's not anything that's really wrong with this. For what it's designed for, the having a break-in period for your thumb is that's, if you're gonna have this pen for a long time, it's just something you're gonna have to deal with. And so yeah, this is the MaxMadco Pen. I'll try to get some shots of me writing with it in just a second if you're interested in that. If you're not, final verdict on this thing is that it's great. If you're okay with paying the steep price of $85 for it, I definitely recommend it. This is something that it's so apparent that it's in your pocket, you're not going to lose it, and you're going to find joy in writing with it. And I hope you would. I think they're great. But yeah, for me, it's something like, if I've spent the money on it, and I am making sure that I have it with me every time I am going someplace, I won't lose it, and I'll always have the pen on me. Whereas something with like a big pen, that I'm careless with those, because hey, it's like 4 cents for one of those things. Who cares if I leave it behind? Whereas this, I always make sure I know where it is. And my friends help me out. They recognize the pen, and they're like, hey, you left your pen over here. And I'll be like, cool, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so that's basically all I have to say on it. I'll get into the writing shots in just a second here, so I will see you then. Alrighty, let's get into the writing part of this. Now, this really isn't anything about the pen. This isn't like a fountain pen where it's got some special nib that's going to affect the way you write. This is more just to demonstrate what it's like to write with a MaxMadco pen. Again, in there I have a Parker QuickFlow ballpoint pen. It's a medium, so it's got like a 1.0 millimeter diameter ball on the end of it. But yeah. Anyway, here's a little bit of the writing sample. My name is David, so I'm going to write David. That was a horrible cursive. I'm trying to write from behind a camera, so let's try that again. That's how I sign my name. Here's my username. And here's a little bit of cursive. What should we do right here? I'll do... Yeah, I'm going to stop trying to write from behind the camera and go right over here. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Yep, my cursive is not really that wonderful, especially when I'm trying to be hasty. If I was trying to be a little bit more deliberate, I could write something that looks a little bit neater. So you get the point. That's basically how that pen writes. I like it. I love it. I hope that you, if you ever choose to pick one up, feel the same. Thanks for watching.